Okay, here we go. You've got things in two counties here in our backyard that are votes that are not getting a lot of attention. You're not hearing ads about them, but are important to know. And I want to talk to David Stokes, Director of Municipal Policy at the Show Me Institute on KCMO. Start in Jackson County. Question 1. A tax of 5 cents per each $100 assessed valuation for the purpose of providing services to persons aged 60 and older. So, David, if I'm understanding this correctly, we now have to have a situation where a younger generation that's getting absolutely fleeced by inflation and their home prices are obviously going up, which means their property taxes are going up. They now need to also be, I guess, subsidizing those 60 and older in Jackson County. Is that what I'm understanding correctly here?
Pete, you are understanding it correctly. This is the Senior Service Fund tax, which admittedly many counties in Missouri have. That doesn't mean I'm for it, but it's just relatively common. But Jackson County doesn't have it. And so they're putting it on now. It seems a strange time to put it on with all the ongoing controversy about assessments in Jackson County. I mean, they're still in court to determine whether they're using the 2023, 2024, or whatever assessments they're using, and whether they have to roll back everybody's taxes assessments who went up over 15%. So with all these questions floating around the air and undecided, I mean, I would think that a lot of voters would be naturally predisposed against a property tax increase right now, and that's fine by me. You know, then there's also the question of, with Jackson County passing the senior property tax freeze last year, it's, I think, highly troubling that you have this tax that for senior citizen services that seniors can vote for but don't have to pay for. I mean, that's a very questionable public policy move here. So with all this floating around, I would expect a lot of Jackson County voters would think twice on this, even though admittedly, I don't want to threaten people that it's some giant tax increase. It isn't. I think for the average home in Jackson County, you're probably talking about $100 a year, maybe $100 or maybe a little bit more. But look, that's not chicken feed. That's a trip to the grocery store for a lot of people.
I was going to say $100. That's like 2 days worth of groceries nowadays.
Exactly.
Well,
that's terrifying.
Yeah.
But it's true.
Well, here's the thing too. I mean, the public services available to those 60 and older far exceed those who are under 60. Correct?
Oh, absolutely. We just think of all the money government spends on the senior community, who are they might not want to admit this, but who are certainly the wealthiest sector of our population.
Yep. And
they get a significant number of the taxes spent on them, especially at the state and federal level. And here you have a new mandated test. There's many great charities that support seniors throughout Jackson County, and they deserve the support. But I just have a problem with this legislating charity and mandating charity through a new high sales tax on everything everybody else has to pay, especially when the people getting this service aren't even going to have to pay the taxes for it in most cases.
Mm-hmm. And you're right about that. I mean, when you look at, I was just looking at Kiplinger's median net worth by age. Folks in their 60s, median net worth is $400,000, 70s, 433. I mean, it's a transfer of wealth to those who technically, based on the data, have the most amount of wealth. And that's just a loser issue to me. And I'm not trying to create age warfare here in Kansas City, David Stokes, but it seems also wildly inappropriate to ask the Jackson County homeowner for more tax dollars based on what this county's been through the last year and a half.
Exactly. And that Jackson County homeowner who doesn't even know what his or her property taxes are going to be in the very near future because they haven't decided this lawsuit on what assessment they're going to use.
Yeah.
So many balls in the air for the average person. And we're not making a stretch on that. Like, really, you don't know what you're going for. So here to throw in a new tax on top of all of it, I would think that a lot of people in this situation who certainly want to support charities that support our seniors, I would hope a lot of people would realize that this isn't necessarily the best way to go about doing that.
All right, let's go to Platte County. David Stokes with the Show Me Institute. Platte County voters are going to decide on whether to implement a quarter-cent sales tax in the county to support a new community children's services fund. Quarter-cent sales tax, how much money are we talking here for the average Platte County citizen, and what are your thoughts?
I think we're talking about, I want to say about $5 million a year for the county is what they expect us to raise. And I think that's pretty close. You know, what that comes to for the average year, it just varies so much in how much you spend. Probably, again, a few $100 a year at most. But that doesn't mean whether it's a lot or a little. It's that same question to me of mandating charity, of mandating this type of program, and to legislate it through taxation. Again, just like in Jackson County with seniors, there are many wonderful charities in Platte County that do great work for children and children in need. But in both counties, and here in Platte County, politicizing charity is a very dangerous road to go down. And the creation, you don't have that in Jackson County with a new taxing body. In Platte County, you would. The creation of a new tax body with very little oversight. And we know that all these obscure taxing agencies throughout Missouri and throughout the Kansas City region, the small obscure ones get very little oversight. They frequently have trouble spending money properly. In Lafayette County, on the eastern edge of the Kansas City metro area, 10 years ago, they had a lot of trouble with their children's services fund, spending money improperly and the like, because there's so little oversight to it. And then you run the risk of politicizing it. You know, once you're appointed.
Well, hey, David, help the kids. I mean, come on, man. What's wrong with you?
Well, that's what a lot of the supporters would say, that the fundamental, the end justifies the means here. And look, the end in many cases would be beneficial. I don't want to deny that there are kids who need help, but I think the people of Platte County should be voluntarily supporting these charities, not creating a new politicized board to mandate it through legislation. It's just a very dangerous road to go down, and the fact that it's happening so frequently in so many counties. You know, people say, well, we don't give enough money to charity. Well, one of the reasons we don't give enough money to charity, I don't believe that, but if you say that, we give so much to charity through taxes, be federal taxes, state taxes, or these new sales and property taxes for charity. That's where the money's going, and it's frustrating to see.
Absolutely. It is. You're right, David Stokes. We appreciate you being here for some insight on both of these issues ahead of next Tuesday.
Well, and Pete, we've got on our blog at showmeinstitute.org, we've also had pieces on these topics run in the Kansas City Star and Platte County papers, op-eds, and letters to the editor. So just a lot of information on it at showmeinstitute.org if people want to check it out, both on the Jackson County senior tax and the Platte County children's tax.
All right. Thank you, David Stokes. Appreciate him being here on KCMO Talk Radio.